And welcome back to Creative Thinkers. My name is Miguel Valenzuela, and today, as always, we bring you somebody very interesting and special. Today we have Brenda Herrera. She is a life coach and also a spinal flow practitioner. So she's going to tell us a little bit about what she does. Brenda, welcome.
Thank you, Miguel. Thank you so much for having me here.
Absolutely, our pleasure. So we always want to start by talking to the individual about a little bit about themselves, how they grew up, who are they. But I've actually known you for a while, and I've known a little bit about you. You're a local El Pasoan, correct?
Yes, correct. I've been here all my life except the 2 years that I was living in China, in Beijing. And that was a very wonderful experience for me, Miguel, because it helped me evolve as a person and it helped me grow in many, many ways. And I didn't know I had many surprises waiting for me over there too. So it's a very important part in my life. But yes, I'm from El Paso and I've been here all my life.
Very good. And being in China is something that we have in common, actually, because I was there as well and lived there for a little while. It's an amazing place to visit. And it's actually, I think, mind-changing, but also life-changing. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I would agree with that, because I also learned to be more in tune with myself and my thoughts and the person, the Brenda.
The reality of who
Yes.
you are, I guess?
Yes.
In which way?
In the way that sometimes we're just so busy, Miguel. We're just so busy trying to get the next accolade, the next degree, learning and learning and learning, but then we forget to study thyself. We forget who we are. We forget what we want. So being over there and being connected to that culture helped me to really evaluate and be with Brenda. Who is Brenda? What does Brenda want? Not what does society or the parents or everybody else wants from me, but what do I want from me?
And was that something that you dealt with, the issues with, like, we can put it as society, right? But a lot of times it's what parents want for their children. Was that something that you dealt with and something that you had to kind of figure out?
Yes, indeed, Miguel. And then if we go back to the young person, okay, what did I want? To be rich, to have a house, the latest car, blah, 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 right? But then as you go through life, you know that's not the fulfilling aspect of it.
What is it then?
It's you being it, well, personally.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has a different goal. But for me, it's being at ease with myself,
Mm-hmm.
having a peaceful life,
Mm-hmm.
being able to enjoy a book, to enjoy a sunset or a sunrise, to enjoy time with family or friends, not to be so I have to do this to get to get something for me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just being, for me, it's being at ease, being peaceful, being a helping hand, helping a neighbor, helping a loved one, helping somebody discover healing through many other modalities. That's what's been fulfilling for me. Seeing my clients change. They come in with a vision or a belief. 3 months later, you've turned me into a hugger. I'm like, what? Where did that come from? So that's
Really?
fulfilling. Yes, from somebody that very stern, I don't talk, don't even touch me or certain things like
the
that.
very
to
stoic
like,
type of individual.
Can I give you a hug? You turn me into a hugger. People at work tell me, what's wrong with you? Why are you hugging us now? So those are the things, those are the priceless gifts, Miguel. Those are the things that I'm going to leave behind whenever I'm not in this 3D world anymore.
Right. Because that's one of the things that we talked about. You were saying that as an individual, I want to leave some sort of a legacy. In which way are you doing that right now as we speak?
That and I'm hoping this is how I'm leaving it. This is my vision, Miguel. To set the example for others, where I'm that lending hand,
Mm-hmm.
where I'm doing community events for free, just inviting people to express themselves, to find a voice. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
we don't have a voice at home,
Mm-hmm.
or sometimes we have a role that we have to take care of, but then
Mm-hmm.
it's like, where can I go express myself? So being open to the community in that aspect, teaching them strategies, how they can help themselves, how can they rediscover themselves, and applying them. So that's part of the legacy. The other thing is leading by the example, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I try, not I'm saying that I don't, I try not to put in my mind certain type of music. I try not to watch horror movies. I try to always be in alignment with what I'm representing. I'm not saying sometimes I don't give in because I do have family members that want to go watch maybe a scary movie, and I don't want to be isolated. I want to spend time. So I manage.
So there are decisions that one has to make as well, right?
But then I go home and detoxify from it as much as I can. But actually leading by the example, being that helping hand, being there for somebody that needs me, but also being mindful of putting boundaries.
True.
That you're not taking advantage
Right.
of that too, because sometimes we do tend to stay in that victim mode and everything happens to us. Everything happens to us. And when that happens, Miguel, I know that person is not ready to make the change. And
Is that because they're stuck? They have built a wall so high that they're not able to even knock it down themselves?
That can be part of it. The other thing could be that's the way they have survived for so many years. So it's easier to stay in that because that has worked for them for that many years.
It's like surviving one day at a time, then kind of being stuck in that situation without being able to move forward?
Yes, because a lot of the times we have breakthroughs, but they're just that because there's no action, there's no embodiment. You know you have this, you know you have to do this, but doing it, it's challenging and it's hard. Let me just stay where I was. Although I know all this is happening, but embodiment, it's hard.
So taking it to that next level
Taking
that's
action.
the hard part. Well, one of the things that we also discussed was the concept behind having an open mind about things, right? Because when we don't have an open mind, as you just stated, we kind of create this wall around ourselves that we're not able to push forward. And that's one of the premises of this show. We talk about thinking outside the box and being creative. But in the sense of what you do, how does creativity work into that?
That's a great question, Miguel. So even developing some of my services, I had to stop and think and create. But in order to do that, I had to do an exercise where I realized that I wasn't being in a creative state by being in a relaxation mode. I have to do, if I'm not doing something, I'm not being productive.
Okay.
And I was doing the total opposite thing. Once I did this meditation exercise, I discovered you need to relax so you can create.
Oh, okay.
And even doing that, okay, I need to relax so I can create, took me a little bit of time because my body wanted to go do something. But I've written it in the universe, Miguel, that I will become a millionaire. And in my millionaire life, I need a relaxation.
Of course, I think everybody does.
And I was not having it. So how was I going to create this other world? So now it's making those shifts and those changes. And then once I make those shifts and changes, helping others to understand the shifts and the changes. Because at the beginning, my biggest shift has been the weight loss. And now it's like, I can help people with that because it's an emotional problem. It's baggage. You're carrying something that doesn't belong to you. But now we're like way ahead of that. Now I'm working with mindset, Miguel. Now I'm working with the creative state. Your mindset needs to be relaxed. Your cortisol levels need to be low. Your brain waves need to be an alpha so you can create.
And how far or how important is the creative process for the individual? Because maybe you're not ready to create. That's one of the things that I teach in my class. You know, creativity is of utmost importance, at least in my belief and what I teach. I teach that if we don't have creativity, most of the time, not always, but most of the times we don't have success in many ways. In other words, if we're allowing ourselves to think freely, then we're having more ideas. If we have more ideas, then we have more answers, right? Questions and answers. Once we have those answers, then we can bring to fruition these things that we're trying to get across. It may be a new business, it may be a new job, it may be whatever it is. And whatever it may be will eventually bring you more success. But if we don't start off with that open-mindedness, then we're never going to get to that. So my question is, how important is it for these individuals to get into that different mindset?
It is very important, especially if they want to create their freedom.
Freedom of what?
Freedom of your own life, your own individuality. I know nowadays we want to do things that we like, follow our passion. So all of that is going to come into play if you want to create your own business. You need to put thinking into it. You need to create. What is your business about? Who is your target audience? What is your niche? You can build a castle in the sky, but if you don't take action, it's just a castle.
Right.
And people sometimes are comfortable there because they dream, but
Right.
once taking action comes into play, they're like, oh no, it's too hard. And it's okay, you can be that 9-to-5 employee, but if you want freedom, then you need to think, you need to create. How are you going to create that freedom?
And speaking of creativity, you're actually taking your business into a whole new realm. Can you explain what this is? Because it seems very interesting. Lots of colors, which is something that I love, but also something completely different that I haven't seen in a while as far as like actual spinal cord. Please explain.
Yes, Miguel, something that we added at Self Love has been the spinal flow technique. What that is we have 33 access points in the spine. When we address these access points, what it does, it sends a signal to the brain. The brain gets that message. It sends it back to the spine wherever the healing needs to occur.
And how does the healing know where it needs to occur, or how do you know where the healing needs to occur?
That is a great question. The body has wisdom.
Okay.
The body knows where the healing needs to happen.
Okay.
It's like the electricity. We don't need to know how it functions to know how
It
to
flows.
use it, right? So this technique was developed by Dr. Carly. She's an Australian doctor.
Okay.
So what this is, we have 7 gateways on the spine. We have the base, we have the foundation, we have the power, we have the center, we have the passion, we have the pause, which is C1 and C2, and we have the awaken, which is the brain.
Okay. And how does that flow? Because I see that there's almost like a rainbow happening here.
Yes, so the way it flows is through the central nervous system, the brain, and then we have the nerves. So for example, if you fold a hose, a water hose, what's going to happen to it? No
Kink, no water.
No water. Next time you go to Walmart or to a store, analyze the person in front of you. Sometimes you'll see a fold by C1 and C2.
I actually have seen that, yeah.
So what that means right there, that when I see it, it automatically tells me the messaging from the brain, from the central nervous system is not passing how it should through the spine. So there's a blockage there. So once you unleash that hose, all the pressure goes out.
Does that mean that we have to get rid of the fold, literally in the neck?
Yes, there's a way to start getting rid of it because it's going to start throwing off the posture, and then the cerebral spinal fluid, it's not bathing the spine as it should.
Well, that's one thing that's interesting because in my class, we just had this conversation yesterday about how powerful the brain is. Are you telling us that if we're able to make those connections and clear them up through whatever you're doing, we're able to have a stronger brain maybe?
Stronger connection, stronger healing, but more than anything, Miguel, the body starts to heal itself.
Okay.
Our spines are supposed to be malleable. Babies, if you see them stretch, their spines are malleable. As we grow older and we go through traumas, accidents, emotional
Breakups
distress,
and whatnot.
breakups, we start to get tight. Our back starts to really protect themselves. So with spinal flow, that's the whole point. When you're accessing these points, it's sending the messaging and the spine starts to realign and the healing starts to happen. The thing here is too, it can happen therapeutically, emotionally, or spiritually. But sometimes we don't have the connection with those 3. Maybe it's just therapeutic for you. Maybe it's just spiritual for you. But the goal is for it to happen in all levels. We have emotional, physical, stressors and chemical that are happening in our spine.
And can you give us examples of those? What I'm assuming it is basically if I hurt myself, that would be a physical thing, right? If I have a breakup or something like that, it is more of an emotional thing. Is there another example that you can give?
Yes, and chemical.
Chemical, what would that be?
Taking drugs, artificial food, artificial sugar.
Oh, okay.
All of that starts to get stored in the body.
Okay.
So once we address these points, Miguel, what happens is the spine starts to move. The spine becomes malleable. So it's just everything starts to readjust. And it even goes a little bit more deeper. Some people have dreams about their loved ones. They come and tell them messages. I've had some people say that their spirit guides came, or they saw God, or they felt they were flying, but then they stopped it. I have some people that they feel better, the low back pain is gone. I have some people that manifested things such as money. And then I also have people that I'm like, I didn't feel anything. I'm like, it's all subjective. But I'll tell you what, the harder the spine is, it takes more time for you to feel that wave. But once that wave is activated, it's activated forever. I have a client, she comes in, I just touch, the spine starts to move.
Oh, wow. And when you say starts to move, what are they feeling something? Are you feeling something? How's that working?
So it's mainly them. I can see the spine moving, and I can feel a little bit of the frequency or the vibration that goes through the spine or the movement. But when I say move, I mean move. Wow. The little joints, they start to move, and everything just starts to activate.
Oh, wow.
Like literally.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. And that's the thing, when people have seen the spinal flow technique online, they come and they want to feel the flow the very first time.
Okay.
And since they don't feel it, they're skeptical.
Right.
But it's subjective. If you're super connected to your body, some people feel it within the second session.
And one of the other things that you mentioned was that every once in a while, it'll be so overwhelming that you feel something. You almost feel sick. Can you explain that feeling? Because for some people, maybe they won't feel anything, but for other people, it's so strong of a change that you actually feel things. Explain.
Yes, and I'll give you my personal, what I went through with this, Miguel. So my personal journey was, I was at the immersive and we were learning from Dr. Carly. She came from Australia. And I hadn't felt the flow. It was our third day. It finally activated. And it was almost like an 8-hour healing day. The next day and that night, I was feeling sick. I was feeling nauseous. I remember that day I had cold sweats. I just started to sweat. And then the weather was a little clammy, so clammy weather and me sweating, it was cold. So it was very unpleasant. And even the following day, I'm like, I don't feel good. I think I need to go to the hospital. And it's like, no, you're just going through the healing process. Gosh. There's a lot of healing that happened yesterday. Your body's just going through it. Sometimes it needs to get worse before it gets better. And after that, Miguel, a lot of things have changed. A lot of things I can manifest parkings. I can manifest certain things that I want.
I've actually done that my whole life.
Yes.
I manifest a lot of things, and I feel like, and people ask me like, how are you able to do these things? I'm like, I feel like it's because, one, I feel like I'm connected, right? Spiritually. But another thing is I feel like I just know that I can do these things. Some people don't believe that they can do these things, but I do. And then it just happens. It's like just there, you know what I mean? Can you explain that to us a little bit further? Because even though it happens to me, I'm not real sure how it happens.
Right. And all of that came, Miguel, with studying myself, studying who Brenda is or where Brenda's going. What does she want? Why does she want the things she wants? So now it's getting into a point where I just ask for it, and some way, somehow, it happens.
Isn't it beautiful?
And sometimes I'm like, oh, wow, this is happening to me. I'm not going to lie to you right now, getting a parking. Everything was full. I'm like, I'm going to get my parking, and it's right in front of the exit door. So I was just like, oh, this is amazing, this interview.
Yeah.
I'm just like, it's going to happen.
Let me tell you a funny story, just from an anecdote from yesterday. So I went to the store. My daughter's all, can you get me some spicy chips? a particular brand I don't want to mention, but she was saying, I want those. And I looked everywhere. I'm like, nope, they don't have them. I called her up. I go, you know what? Is there anything else you want? Because they don't have them. She's all, nah, you know, I don't want anything then. Just don't bring me anything. And the last thing I do is turn the corner and there's a huge rack of those chips. So I walked out and I told my daughter, I go, my gosh, my girl, you're really, really good at manifesting things. You really have to know what you want because you may manifest the wrong things. But there are people who just have that ability, I think. But it is something that can be created, in your opinion?
In my opinion, yes, Miguel, because before I couldn't manifest anything. I would ask for things and it was hard for me to get them. But now it's like, it's easy. It's easy. And the more I practice and the more I develop myself and the more I know about myself, things are just coming my way very easily. And I want people to know it is possible. Whatever limiting beliefs, whatever software was embedded in our lives back then, we can get rid of it. Does it take some time? Sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't. It all depends on the person. But it is a skill that can be acquired. So whatever dreams people have, please know you can make them a reality.
So as far as what you're talking about, the brain and how it works and how you're able to manifest these things, in reference to, you know, thinking differently, do you think that is something that individuals say, I don't want, and then eventually say, I can have, like in your situation? Or is it something that just kind of snapped out of the blue?
Actually, Miguel, I had to learn language, the NLP, the neuro-linguistic programming. I had to learn.
Are you talking about how to articulate your ideas better in order to acquire these things?
Like removing the words I can't, I'm in debt. Or even if I want to be debt-free, you're still using the word debt in it.
Right,
so,
which is something you want to get rid of.
Yes, all those negatives. Why? Because we think in pictures. So even if you're thinking, I don't want to be in debt, what is your brain going to think first? You being in debt.
The negative.
So you want to think, you want to see, you want to visualize positive things, good things coming your way. Does it take conditioning and awareness? Yes, but it's something that can be developed. So my question is, how big are your dreams, right? How big? There's people that they're even afraid to dream big because it's impossible.
And it's something that I really find in many of the students that I have, and not just outside of class, but in class, you know, I feel like they have been living in worlds where there is a certain level of programming that has gone on that has helped them, or not helped them, I guess, deterred them from reaching their goals. And that's kind of something that I try to change in my students as well. Yeah, so what's in the future for you? Because we run out of time so fast in this show.
Miguel, that's something that you brought up to me right now. The youth is very important to me, also because I have little brothers. So I want them to know, I want them to change their mindset. The world is theirs, but they also need to know that they need to be giving, that they need to be respectful, but that the world's in their hands, and that their biggest attribute is youth, and for them to use their time wisely. That's the next thing that I want to focus on. And one of the... So you have a program going on or something? I am developing something right now for that, but also this is sort of in the works, but the plan is to have a wellness community when people can come heal themselves in a holistic way from all the alternate factors that we have in this outside reality, but for them to use a holistic approach, maybe less medication, maybe drinking in a healthy way, and for them to discover themselves. That's where things are heading. That's where the plan is going. And I know at this point, God is going to guide me, and you can also say Gus. God, what does that mean? So the other term I like to use is Gus, because it's God, universe, or source. Whatever you believe in, it doesn't matter. Something bigger than you that can help you create what you want. Yeah, because every once in a while you need help in whatever situation. Yes. It doesn't have to be something extreme. It can be finding a parking space, right? But the beauty of it is to have that mindset to understand that you are able to do all of those things. Yes. And that you're able to create, Miguel. That's the most important thing. Staying in the create is the most powerful thing that you can do to have freedom and to create your own world.
Okay.
So in order to stay in the creative side, you need to be with yourself or with creative minds.
Right. And I think that's beautiful that you say that. Towards the end of the show, I always ask my guests, do you have any advice that you could give our viewers that will help them, either from what you do or something you learned or something that you heard, something that somebody told you? You know, what can help our viewers live a better life?
To study themselves.
Okay.
To learn about themselves, to know what are your passions, what do you want to do, what do you study yourself, journal everything down. This is what I'm good at, this is what I'm not good at, this is what I can learn to become or create or craft that ideal person, and to stay in competition, but with themselves, Miguel.
What do you mean?
Stay in competition with yourself.
Try to better yourself all the time?
What in this case, I would ask myself, what is it that I need to get better at to become this person, to build this identity? Because if I want to be the next rock star, I'm doing everything out of alignment. I'm studying the spine, I should be playing a guitar.
Right.
So study yourself. What is it that you need to do to build that identity? And I'm going to give you a very powerful secret really quick, Miguel.
Please.
People that meditate and don't build an identity, they can meditate all they want, but if they don't build the identity of who they want to become, the meditation is not going to help.
Oh, wow. So it's absolutely focus. The more focused you are, the better off you will be?
Yes, in crafting who you are. And that's why I say stay in competition with yourself. Groom yourself to what you need to change to become who you want to become. If you're comparing yourself to someone else, it's very different. This person can be way up high and you're here. There's this gap here. So when you're in competition with yourself, then you'll take it step by step for what works for you, and you don't feel that pressure.
Very nice. I want to thank you very much because you took the time out here to explain something that we'd never heard of before. At least I hadn't. So hopefully our viewers will be excited to hear what you have to say. And I want to thank you, all of you guys, for coming back, watching us here at Creative Thinkers. Once again, my name is Miguel Valenzuela, and if you guys want to get in touch with me, you guys can email me at mvalen31@epcc.edu, or you guys can visit us on Instagram, watch our shorts. Also, you guys can watch us on YouTube at EPCC TV, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much.